And we're live from the rinks in Hauppauge, Stony Brook ACHA M1 versus Syracuse, a familiar foe in a new conference. The ACCHL is the new place for battle between these two teams, but they know each other so well. My name's Kevin Broderick, joined by Matt Mankiewicz here on WSB, the YouTube sports page. Matt called a game earlier with football, now back for a doubleheader. How you doing today?
Well, busy day today broadcasting. I also did a 2-hour talk show this morning, so up to the task. One thing you get used to, you've done multiple games in the same day, so you know what it's like. Once you get your voice into shape, it actually comes pretty easily.
Absolutely. And taking a look at these two teams in particular, Matt, the Orange coming into this matchup 5-9-2 overall. The Seawolves, on the other hand, 7-5-1, and something that I got to talk about off the rip, Matt, number 13 in the country, Stony Brook Seawolves, one of the highest rankings that we've really talked about in a while.
Working their way back up to them. They went through a couple of lean years.
Yep, absolutely.
Part of it was due to funding. Part of it, a lot of it, was due to injuries. And the team has been pretty healthy as of late. They're in a little bit of a home stretch because the club teams tend to take the intersession off, so you got to get them all in just before the end of the fall semester.
Yep.
So this is part of it. You got you got a back-to-back, not home and home, over the weekend, and both teams are looking forward to bashing again. Now, these two teams faced each other earlier this year.
No, I believe this is the first time that they're playing. They will be playing one more at Syracuse
there you
for the
go.
Seawolves.
That's where. Because I thought they had done that already, that road series. But yes, you're right. That's going to be in the spring, right?
Yes, as the Seawolves will take the ice wearing their primarily blue with red and white striped jerseys, red trousers. The Syracuse Orange on the other side wearing their white away jerseys with orange lettering and obviously that orange and black trim. Now, 20 minutes on the clock, but we still got a little bit of time, Matt, on this pregame.
This color scheme is interesting. It kind of reminds me to a degree of almost like the Columbus Blue Jackets.
A little bit.
Yeah. But most importantly, the blue was incorporated into the Stony Brook color scheme way back when they became the Seawolves. And they realized that scarlet and gray alone weren't going to cut it. And ever since then, we've seen other teams adopt it. We've seen the basketball teams do it. We've seen the baseball teams, even the lacrosse teams do it. So now it's the hockey team's turn. And I believe they've worn these before, but first time this year that I know of.
First time definitely that we've been broadcasting a game this year with these jerseys. It obviously has the Wolfie logo across the front of it, something that has been new to this team as we get into the starting lineups here at the rinks. One of the things that I always like to talk about with hockey, you get a basketball-esque starting lineup announcement, but in hockey, it's not really the same feeling when you're a starter than when you're talking about basketball, Matt.
No, because 2 minutes into the game, you have a line change.
And then another 30 seconds after that, you get another line change.
I mean, 2 minutes, I'm being generous, so.
As the Seawolves starters, one thing that I definitely will read off, the starting netminders, it looks like AJ Finta down on the left side of the rink, and for the Seawolves on the right side, it is Steven Reganato. So first time I think we're going to be talking about this matchup, but one thing I want to highlight is the state of Stony Brook goaltending right now with Garrett Simpson still out. He's out for the season. That was really your 1-2 punch that you expected to go into the year with. It was going to be Steven Reganato. It was going to be Garrett Simpson. But without that, it's been Garrett Simpson, the workhorse, Matt. 12 games played, 12 games started, a 3.91 goals against average, and exactly a .900 save percentage. He's played 660 total minutes. Heath Goldsmith and Michael Foglia, those two have only combined for 123 minutes. So you can see the discrepancy of what the Holbrook native is going through.
Yeah, well, I mean, teams have faded away a little bit over time.
And we'll kick it over to the national anthem here at the rinks.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright
And to finish your point, Matt.
Okay, kind of lost it.
We're talking about the difference between Reganato and his minutes versus Heath Goldsmith and Michael Foglia.
The fact is that when you have such a disparity between your top player, your top goalie, and everybody else, he's going to get the minutes because you need to survive. And one of the reasons why they're still ranked despite losing a top goalie is that they have somebody who can eat up the minutes. I mean, I remember you name from the NHL past, a fellow named Tim Chevelday. Tim Everyday Chevelday was his nickname. And at the time, you had goalie tandems. I mean, the Vezina Trophy was originally meant to go to a goalie tandem. Usually now goes to one goalie because you have a one everyday goalie now in the NHL. Martin Brodeur was one of the early ones. But
60 games a year, every year for Marty.
Exactly. So maybe he would get the back end of a back-to-back off. Maybe he'd get a road game off or something like that. But that was it. So you have your lead goalie playing 2/3 of your schedule no matter what you did, 3/4.
Numbers 13, Stony Brook versus an unranked Syracuse. The first time here in the ACHL. Puck drop is underway here at the rinks, and the Orange will win it back, instantly getting off to their captain, Chesner, to dump it down the ice. Icing is averted as Duffy will pull up to it in the right wing corner, taken away by Robert Hyde. He'll get it off to Nakagawa, and a good pass through the legs gives it back to Hyde. Dumps it down into the offensive end. Finta gets it on the glove but can't cover up. Now the puck will pop out of play into the netting for our first pause. 21 seconds gone by, Matt.
And your first line change.
Stony Brook, they're going to be doing this a lot
21 seconds in.
They love their depth on this team, and especially they love getting number 76, Will Kormanek, out for these ozone draws, and his partner in crime has been Paul Dezzaro every single day. Matt, he has 12 goals and 11 games played.
Many of those off faceoffs.
Stony Brook not going to win cleanly in the offensive zone off the draw. The puck will come back out to Trezera, pops a pass off the wall. Hits a little bit of traffic on the near point, and the Orange will take it back. Another dump in goes to the right wing corner. Here comes Brendan Duffy in on the forecheck, lays Trezera into the end boards, but the puck pops over to Kormanek. Pops it out back into the neutral zone, mishandled by Nordwin. Kormanek takes it back as it poked off his stick, and now it's Brandt past the blue line for the Orange. Floats a pass towards the net. Trezera will stick it down, carry it into the corner before he gets slammed himself. Eeping pass goes to Kormanek, and it's broken free by Dinopoli. Playing up on a higher line than normal is Hudson Dinopoli, usually your third or fourth line center, but he's been so solid for Chris Garofalo and Clue that he's gotten higher up in the priority. Orange come back with Rand, dancing down to the goal line for a shot, saved by Reganato. Rebound comes away, and it'll be skated up and out by Anthony Vernillo. Getting the pass off to Anastasio, he'll slap it down the length of the ice and allow number 25, Sean Cato, to come onto it. Long pass for the Orange will go down for an icing, and we'll get another whistle with 18:28 remaining in the first match.
So most of the action happening in the middle third of the ice. Nobody really able to set anything up in the opposing zone as yet. Maybe one shot total actually taken by the Seawolves. So still feeling each other out this early stage of the game. We're only about a minute and a half in.
Vernillo on the ozone draw, gets it back to Haskins, whips it off the boards down below the goal line. It's fought for there by a couple of players, and Wren will tap it free. Trying to shimmy the puck up the boards, flips it off the high glass, and is able to clear the zone. Back for Haskins at center ice, gets around one check and dumps into the left wing corner. Malik is the F1 on the forecheck, instantly presses number 24, Chabati, into the boards. One of my favorite names to say, Matt. It sounds like bread.
Because it is.
Malik into the slot. Couldn't get the shot up as he was tied away by Coyle. High out of the zone, and Cook will play it in to the corner. Cook looking for a centering bid, hits off the skate of Haskins, joined by a couple of teammates down low as Haskins looks to clear. Finds an outlet pass to Justin Nakagawa, and out for Anastasio. Crisscrossing in the neutral zone. Anastasio wheeling and dealing into the slot for a shot, saved by Finta. Rebound gets played around. Cooper Smith goes stick to stick, dancing it off the half wall. Dips down to the goal line and exchanges with Nakagawa. Pass up to the blue line. Poirier, the French-Canadian, to Valenti. Pass to Anastasio for a nice shot from the slot, and once again, Finta gets in front of it. Nice little look for the Seawolves right there, but they will be forced away as Gaffney skates it up and out. Poirier once again with it, off to Kowalski on a D-to-D pass. Whip to the far side for Cooper Smith, mishandles it, and it's Carter Rugg to dance it back into the offensive end. Rugg against Charles, below the goal line. Giving it off, allowing McLean to take it. McLean joined down low by McEnroe. And somehow Poirier coming out with it. Looks to dip past Rugg, a pass over to Cooper Smith, cuts it through the blue line. Smith looking for options, going all the way to the far half wall. Tapped off to Nestepany. Nestepany still holding on to it, looking to get some support from Labos. And gets back to the blue line. Poirier dances right. Has McEnroe in front of him, tying up with a stick. Poirier still at the blue line, gives it off. Trezero, wrister almost tipped out in front by Nestepany. Skims around to the opposite end. Labos holding the zone to the slot. His shot saved once again by Finta, who's being peppered on the last couple of shifts, Matt.
The shot's relatively easy to handle, not screened. Seawolves just have to keep at it and just keep throwing them at the net.
Nestepany gets it back in his own zone, trying to clear. He'll swipe a backhand up to Chesner, the captain for the Orange. Rotates it around for Jack Duffy. Up the near boards, Duffy dumps it in. Nestepany allowing his goaltender to cover up, and we'll get our first pause coming out of Steven Regonato. 15:55 remaining in the first period. Score is still knotted up at nothing here at the rinks.
Seawolves starting to establish themselves in the Syracuse zone a little bit better. They're getting a few shots off, 4 so far. I mean, like I said, they're not necessarily the best shots, but at least they're doing it. I mean, Syracuse has 1 shot so far. Now they're in the Seawolves zone here.
Jack Duffy will risk the pass around the boards. It comes back to him at the blue line. Duffy from the slot, a shot. Regonato seeing eye save right there. He gets the puck into the glove and will once again pause for another whistle. About 10 seconds gone by in that play.
That was their best chance so far, and only their second shot of the game so far. Very well screened right down the slot.
So Brandt, one of the top point producers for the Orange, will step into the draw circle. Looking to win it back and gets it over to one of the 2 Duffys on this team. There is Brendan Duffy as well as Jack Duffy, not related. Into the offensive end go to the Seawolves. Puck bouncing around in the slot. Nakagawa got a shot off as he was falling down, but Finta was right there for the save. And it was Nakagawa and Hyde to crash the blue paint.
But that is the type of goal that Nakagawa scores. So right off the bat, he looks like he's on his game.
Justin Nakagawa, no stranger to scoring, has 12 points in 11 games this year. Face-off won by the Orange. They try to spill the puck out of the zone off the glass, but it's held alive by Stony Brook. Pops off the boards. Mara trying to play it in deeper, gets it off to Hyde for a shot. Rebound comes to Wenrich. His shot blocked away by Cook, and it pops for Coyle. Plenty of room to straight, looking for a home run pass over to Cook, but he was tripped up in some skates inadvertently by Haskins, so no penalty on the play. Wenrich breaks it past the blue line, poked off of his reach by Cook, played back to the Stony Brook zone, falling into some trouble at the far point before it's twirled in off the glass. Haskins back for it below his own goal line. Looking for his options as he skates it up, dumps it in from a little too deep in the neutral zone, Matt, as it will go down for an icing.
A little bit too far ahead, but at least last couple of possessions with Seawolves, Syracuse has actually been pretty good on the check, especially in the neutral zone. So they're starting to feel themselves a little bit. Let's see what happens in the Stony Brook zone. They really have not had too many opportunities there, but they have one here.
Jack Alicia into the face-off dot, one of the Orange members that have been hurt very often this year. Wins it back for Nordwin, who banks it off the boards, and it goes right to Nakagawa to clear. Long pass to DiNapoli, holds it in the zone as his team goes for a change. Hounded by Alicia, still somehow holding on to it, and it's a back pass to Kowalski. Has trouble fielding it, and it's a turnover to Alicia. Wraps it in off the backhand as another hit onto DiNapoli on the far side. Lays him into the ice, but Stony Brook can still find the clear off to DeZaro. Taps it for Kormanek. Skating in 2-on-1. Kormanek a shot. Finta is saved with the glove. And Kormanek, nifty, pulled it through some skates.
Well, the important thing here is that Kormanek's the biggest guy on the ice anytime he's out there. And he not only has the size, but he has the agility to use it.
Matt, I think he might be the biggest guy in this rink.
Yeah, because usually the biggest guys on the rink aren't necessarily the best skaters, but he can move.
Kormanek on the draw, trying to win it forward. It's tapped aside by the Orange, and Nordwin trying to clear off the glass. Kowalski holds it in and rattles it around down low. Nestepany went flying after it, but it eluded his stick, and it's cleared out. McEnroe to McCormick. Kowalski intercepts the give and go and banks it right back into the neutral zone. Cormanick trying to glide it up the ice. Nice little takeaway on his stick lift. Another shot from Cormanick, spills off to the right side of the net. Rebound still below the goal line. DeSaro looking for a takeaway on the corner, but is angled away from the puck, and the orange clear thanks to number 17, McCormick. McCormick will dump in on the other ends. RJ Sember battling down low as the puck will rim around the boards. Still no penalties in this game, Matt. About 6 minutes gone by. DeSaro looking for another clear and will force it back to the orange at center ice. Cato looking to put it around Vernillo. Couldn't. It's back for Anastasio. Anastasio glides to the far side, cuts past two, looking to twirl with control of the puck, but loses it. Malik trying to hold the zone, and it's batted around, I think, into the orange bench. We'll get a whistle and a face-off in the neutral zone.
One thing I was looking at Cormanick, especially when first of all, he broke through and got a couple of shots off, but also, even in the neutral zone, when somebody tries to throw a hit on him, they bounce off him.
Cormanick will get another rest on the bench right now. Again, this is a very deep Stony Brook team, probably the deepest I've seen in my 3 years here. That's how they've gotten up to number 13 in the country. A turnover at the goal line. Stony Brook trying to get a shot off. Ends up with Vernillo, looks to the blue line, gets it into the circle for a shot, blocked in front by Syracuse. Trezzero holding the zone for now as it spills below the goal line. Jack Duffy looking for the clear, has plenty of space, and whips a pass across the ice and out. Back for Valenti, trying to bank it forward, intercepted by the orange. Jack Duffy looking to hold the zone, gets it off to the other Duffy and Brendan, taken away by Malik, gives it to Valenti. Back pass to Malik. Up to Anastasio, holds in his own zone as his team get going up ice. Anastasio, wild pass, ends up with Malik off the boards, and he'll dump in. Stony Brook going for a change behind the play as Finta will go down below his goal to hold it for his defense. Turnover goes to Cooper Smith, lost it in his skates. Syracuse another opportunity to clear, but it's well fought for and held alive. One more opportunity, and this time will be an outlet pass to Brendan Duffy. He'll dump in and turn around to go for a change for the orange. 8 minutes gone by here in the first period. Here comes Wenrich up the near side, looks to the opposite end and dumps it into the right wing corner. Back forward is Nordwin. Up and out quickly for the orange as Cook chases after the wobbly puck. Cook diving down to the goal line in Stony Brook zone. Wrapping around, sending it out in front, but misfired over to Cole. Syracuse still control with Nordwin. A pass ahead to the blue line. Here's Wren pulling up at the half hole for a shot. Regalado a save, rebound for Cook, and the second shot goes wide. Takes the deflection off to the left wing corner. Cole gets it at the goal line. Up top for Nordwin. Shot looking for a deflection, but it ramps off a stick to the end glass. Banks free for Nestepany, and here he can clear the zone. Kyle Nestepany weaving at the blue line. Rims the puck around the boards to the opposite end. Syracuse trying to find the clear, but it's kept in by Peter Labos. At the goal line, taken away by Wren. Nakagawa comes in on the second wave to interrupt Wren for a second, but one of the more senior players on Syracuse, Matt, not going to make a mistake in his own defensive zone.
Yeah, Nakagawa would be willing to exploit it if he did.
Shot taken from Cato. Off to the left side of the net. Nakagawa looking for the rebound. Smacks it down for Robert Hyde into the right circle for a shot wristed above the crossbar. Good look for Robert Hyde, one of the D3 transfers for this team, coming from SUNY Cortland. He's been a great player for a long time. Carter Rugg with a chance to clear. Shimmies up the far side as the puck is speared off of his reach out into the penalty box. So we'll get another whistle and a face-off in the neutral zone. 10:29 remaining in the first period. Score is still 0-0 here at the rinks. 6-4 are the shots, Matt, in favor of Stony Brook.
The one-on-one play, particularly in front of the net, has been heavily in Stony Brook's favor. Syracuse will come up with a centering pass, and somebody will be there to either knock the player off it or poke the puck away. So Stony Brook...
Turnover comes out in front, they score! Carter Rugg gets the first goal of the game. As
and
Matt
right
was
when
talking,
I say that,
it was a little
together.
unfortunate, Matt. I mean, obviously, that was one of those moments where you think you're safe to talk, but Stony Brook, one of their defensemen, I believe it was Valenti, turned it over at the goal line, and Rugg was right there to shelf it over the right shoulder of Regalado.
Because up until that moment, they were pretty good at avoiding that. But right when I say it is when things go wrong.
So Stony Brook now find themselves down by a goal. on the 6th shot of the game from the orange. They'll go back to center ice for another face-off, and it's Anthony Vernillo to take the honors. Tying up with McEnroe, it's back over for the orange, dumped in by Jake Brown. Trezera back to collect it, risks it for Valenti. One more pass and will break through the zone, but the orange have it at the red line. Right back into the offensive end. Trezera collecting on a backhand. Press from behind, almost turning it over to McCormick, but they had Malik there to help him out. Malik hemmed in the left wing corner. It's a turnover to Brown at the far point for a long wrister. Hit some traffic in front, and now Stony Brook once again trying to clear. Malik across for Valenti, has room at the far side. Whips it to Vernillo, breaks through the blue line, and then has it jousted past. Vernillo regaining, couldn't knife it across the blue line, so McCormick will take it, fluttering puck down and into the breadbasket of Regalado. Will leave it off for his defense. Nakagawa to Malik. Malik again past the blue. Left pass to Anastasio, couldn't rip the shot. Instead, he'll twirl it around the boards, allowing Sember to dance after it in the corner. Taken away by Cato. Cato up the ice and gives it off for Fanning to dump in. 9:08 left in the first period. Score 1-0 in favor of the orange. Syracuse coming off of a 1-1 split against Oswego's. We have a 2-on-1 developing. Shot for Sember, rebound. Finta trying to get there and will cover up the puck. It was a big hit from Fanning as well onto Sember after the play. But the refs allowing these two teams to play right now. No whistles.
Yeah, nothing blatant that they would absolutely have to call, which is good. But they're not calling a very tight game here. And they don't really see a need to. I mean, if things got really aggressive and really physical, then we really would have to call stuff. But no penalties so far in this game, as you said.
So Sember will step in for the O-zone draw off to the left side. Wins it for Nestepany, a glove save from Finta. It's been really flexy and really, looking for the word, Matt, it's almost twitchy with his saves.
He's stopping the pucks he's supposed to stop. They really haven't deceived him much yet.
Sember on the draw again, can't win it away from Chesner. Cooper Smith at center ice, battling forward against Cole, but it gets past him and down into Stony Brook's defensive end. Jack Duffy in on the forecheck, battling against Nestepany, joined by Cook as the puck will eke down for Kowalski, Risks it around the boards, but held alive by Syracuse. 8:30 to play in the first period. Puck down below the goal line. Cole will take it away, back pass to the blue. Rotated around to Duffy at the near point. His shot, no tip coming through it, so it's an easy save for Regalado.
Now, except for the obvious play that Syracuse scored on, they seem to be content taking a lot of shots from around the blue line. And those maybe once in a blue moon go in, but they rarely do. You really have to challenge the goalie a little bit more in their case.
Jack Alicia back out onto the ice, has 11 points in 7 games coming into tonight. Has been a player injured quite a bit. As Alicia at the goal line trying to tap it around Regalado, it's saved by Steven. He'll force another whistle with 8:06 remaining in the first.
And right when I say that, that's exactly what Syracuse tries to do. Fortunately, the puck got smothered, but it must have heard me.
I mean, Matt, sometimes they're reading the same thing that you are. Alicia on for another draw, has the goal scorer Rugg lined up directly behind him. High doing well to tie up on the faceoff, but it pops to Rugg right in the slot. His shot, rebound, almost got out to Gaffney for a follow-up. Instead, it's directed down low by Kowalski, joined by Poirier. They both try to fight for it, but it looks like it's going to come out for Chesner. Alicia lost it. Pops around and Poirier can clear. Off to Hyde, passes through the blue line. Hyde gets it back, a shot saved by Finta. Syracuse getting a lucky clear as well now as it's given off to Alicia on the right wing. Races forward up the boards. Alicia on a sharp angle shot, stick to side by Regalado. Pops free for Trezera, and a backhand will clear the zone. Ends up as a turnover though as Nordwin's back to collect it. Looking for options, gives it over to Nakagawa up the boards. Dancing out in front, Nakagawa, he scores!
There you go.
Stick handles out in front and beats Alicia.
That is a Nakagawa goal. That is his style of play. Get up close, use your stick handling dexterity to elude the goalie and put it in the net.
All starts off of that Nordwin turnover up the near boards. Nakagawa Not a player you want to see in a one-on-one situation with a goaltender. He'll undress him any day of the week. 7:15 remaining in the first period. Game knotted up at 1. Face-off will be 1 to Drezera. Looks for Valenti now, gets it back. Drezera spins it on the backhand for Valenti. Giving it up by Drezera, now Kormanek. Slides it right with DiNapoli. Sent it out in front, but no one could tip a shot on net. Drezera getting back onto the puck on the near boards, joined by Kormanek. Will win it below the goal line, looking for DiNapoli out in front, but the pass was intercepted by Syracuse. To the far point with Valenti. Does hold the zone. Takes a bounce off the left wing corner. Kormanek up to Drezera now, across Valenti. He has a cannon. Valenti couldn't get the shot off freely as it's tipped and hits off the end glass. Chance to be cleared out now by Pendergrass, and it will go up and past the blue line. McCormick collects it for Syracuse, spears it across the blue line. McCormick dipping down low, pressed by Drezera, separated from the puck, but has his teammate McEnroe to take it. Rattles around for DeCero, and now he'll clear the zone. Chesner going back in his own end, turning the corner around the forechecking Vernillo. Chesner on a long run now, breaks it all the way past the blue line. Brantz off to Fanning. Fanning a backhand clear, and the net will come off its moorings with 6:08 to play in the first period. Syracuse getting another shot. They're up to 10 in the game.
The one thing that the Seawolves have been really good on the back check with Syracuse is that nobody gets anywhere near the net without being guarded. The one lapse obviously resulted in a Syracuse goal. But every time there's somebody hanging out looking for a rebound, somebody's there to keep them away.
Brant on the O-zone draw has Brendan Duffy lining up behind him. Face-off against Anastasio, won by the Orange. Up to Cato, swings it across the far side. Chesner looking to the near boards with Duffy. Collects it in the corner. Twists it around for Chesner in open ice. Has Fanning as a passing option behind him. One-timer driven on net and bounces off a stick and goes wide. 5:50 remaining in the first period. 1-1 the score here in the rinks. Syracuse still with possession in the offensive end. Brant at the blue line, passes it left. Chesner moving in, his shot, rebound comes out in front, loose in the slot, and Anastasio finds it first for the Seawolves. Does get the clear as his defense goes for a change. Broken past the blue line by Vernillo. Down to the goal line, he's checked to the ice, and it's a turnover afforded to Syracuse. Brant trying to find the clear, stripped off his stick by Malik, who twists it around the boards a little bit deeper. Syracuse looking to repossess with Fanning on the far side, who collected the puck off the boards, and it's back for Kowalski. Dylan Kowalski with time as Stony Brook go for a wholesale line change. Gets it up to Anastasio, the lone member who hasn't gotten off yet. Looking for a tip on his dump-in attempt from Labos, and Finta will cover it up as the puck did go on net. Another whistle with 5:02 to play in the first period. Matt, still 1-1, but you got to feel that Stony Brook feel like they've been the better team.
Yeah, I think they're playing a better quality period overall, and most importantly, keeping Syracuse out of their game. Syracuse is looking to establish something in the Stony Brook zone, and they got lucky one time, but for the most part, the Seawolves have kept it under control.
So Syracuse are able to clear. Goes back for Kowalski, looking for a pass ahead. Works off to Nestepany past the blue line. Off to Labos, a shot speared aside by Finta. Takes a bounce off the referee, so it stays in the offensive end for Stony Brook. Worked around for Jake Brown. Up the boards for Cook. Whips it across to the opposite side with Cole, and he'll dump in. Puck takes an awkward bounce off the left wing corner, so Regalado tips it back down low. Cooper Smith, the poor pass, could end up in a turnover, but Stony Brook battled to get it out. Just over 4 minutes to play in the first. Kowalski racing back forward as the shots are 13-11. Kowalski will clear. Back for Brown, who will just elect to dump it in one more time. Charles Poirier, one of the teammates we thought, one of the new players, I should say, that we thought would be highly impactful, Matt, coming from Quebec, but he only has 3 points in 11 games so far, 2 goals, 1 assist. Here he comes past the blue line. Left-hand pass over to Labos. His shot knocked aside by Syracuse, and they find a harmless clear up and out. Gaffney getting it in. Regalado behind the net to steer it aside. Poirier gives it off to Hyde. Hyde looking for Drezera, turns it over. It's Rugg right again out in front, passing around. Alicia gets the shot off, but Regalado the save. A little bit of frustration from Rob Hyde. He knows he almost cost his team another goal.
Yeah, and Poirier dove across to stop it. but the puck leaked out over the left side, and Syracuse was able to get another shot, and yes, the goalie saves his bacon.
So Regalado with a 5-star save right there to keep this in a 1-1 tilt. 3:37 the time remaining in the first period. There'll be an ozone draw for McEnroe coming out, looking to win it off to the far side with McCormick, but instead it's down low for the Seawolves, and they'll flip it high and out. Puck nutmegs Nordwin as Chesner tries to get to it, covers his goaltender Finta as he covered up with the glove.
The one thing that the Seawolves have not been able to get from Syracuse when they're in the Syracuse zone, not a lot of second chances. I mean, the same applies over on the other end too, which is why the score is 1-1. But even though they've had guys there, you know, first of all, they're getting great goaltending, and the puck just hasn't leaked out. They haven't had the opportunities to follow up.
And we have a slight pause on the ice as the referees are discussing something right now. Looking like they're getting one of the rinks members out onto the ice, maybe to fix something wrong with a part of the boards. It's being escorted over to the Syracuse bench, so this might be an athletic trainer situation, as it looks like one of the Syracuse players has taken a knee off on his side. Might need some medical attention there. 3:28 remaining in the first period. We'll take the face-off from the left side in the offensive end for Stony Brook. Lorenzo Mara takes the draw. Syracuse gonna win it, but we got an instant penalty from the referee on the near side. And it looks like this is going to be a Stony Brook power play, Mr. Mankiewicz.
About time. A hooking call. Although I admit I haven't seen anything blatant up until now.
So McEnroe will go up into the box for 2 minutes. The Seawolves will put their first power play unit out there. It's Will Cormanick, Robert Hyde, Justin Nakagawa, Wenrich, and DeZaro, exactly who you would expect. Hyde gets the pass up to the blue line, taps it off for Wenrich. Now DeZaro on the near side. Gives it to Nakagawa, down low for Cormanick. His shot rings off the crossbar. Matt a couple of inches away from scoring. $1:51 left in the power play. That's a great set play right there.
Very nice set play. Cormanick ready with the one-timer. Try it again, just might work.
So Cormanick will do the draw again from the left circle. It's Nakagawa on his right flank, DeZaro on his left, Wenrich behind, and Rob Hyde over to the right-hand side of Wenrich. It's one back to Colin. Looks to pass it down the boards for DeZaro, pressured instantly by Pendergrass, just trying to get it off to Nakagawa before the below the goal line, and does. Nakagawa met by Brown as he tries to elevate it out for DeZaro. A quick shot Finta the save, and his helmet instantly pops off for a whistle. Finta obviously cannot continue to play without a helmet. That's quite dangerous.
Right. Although, you know, there was a time in the AHL, mats falls off, tough noogies.
In all fairness, that was also a time when they were playing with uncurved wooden sticks.
Yes.
Not exactly the curved composite sticks that you have nowadays.
Well, the masks and the curved sticks came around about the same time, because once you had the curved sticks, you were able to lift the puck high, and the goalies needed the protection.
Absolutely. You go back to old-time hockey, goalies looked more like modern-day field hockey goalies, the way they stood up and trying to just kick their feet around. Stony Brook looking like they're trying to set up another play right here as Cormanick is talking with DeZaro and Nakagawa. Again, Cormanick, the captain of this team in his 4th year in a Seawolves jersey. Nakagawa, 3rd year for him. DeZaro 2nd, Wenrich 2nd, and Robert Hyde is 1st. Instant clear coming out from Cuse. It will go all the way down the ice. Looks like Robert Hyde will go back to power play this and leaves it off for Nakagawa. Minute 20 left in the 5-on-4, 2:43 in the period. Stony Brook partially interrupted in the neutral zone, but Cormanick will find it into the offensive end. Cormanick driving the net, coming out in front, trying to tuck it around, but the shot went wide off to the left side. Pops free to the corner, and the Orange will find another clear. Rattles back to the defensive end for the Seawolves, where Wenrich gets it on his stick. Under a minute in the 5-on-4, 2:20 in the period now. Stretch pass up to Sorrow, taps it off for Hyde, shimmies up the near boards and will rim it around the ice. goes off to the other end as Chesner finds it on his backhand. Closed in by Hyde. Now Cormanek helps him out. It's a 2-on-2 battle on the far boards, killing off more time down to 40 seconds. Stony Brook can't win it away as it will be cleared up and out by Cole. Cole with Pendergrass coming through. His shot almost squawked by Reganado, but did make the stop. Stony Brook 30 seconds left on their power play. They'll get some fresh legs out onto the ice. DeSaro loops it around one Syracuse defender as he dumps it in, but Orange will get it back and clear for Haskins. $1:30 left in the period, 12 seconds on the 5-on-4, so it looks like Syracuse will go 1-for-1 on their kill. Pass ahead for Haskins, gets it to the stick of Mara, breaks it into the zone and pulling up in the left circle. Mara dips around to check from Cato. Harassed over into the left wing corner, needs some support from Anastasio. They rotate it to Poirier, tapping it back down the wall. It's Mara with it again. Dives around one, check, now getting tied up by Wren. Puck still in the left wing corner as two players from either team come forward. Vernillo breaks it away, looking to get it back over to Mara. Mara on his backhand, couldn't get the pass off in time, is pressured, looking for options. Dips back down low to the corner with 54 seconds left in the period. Shot almost tipped on the back door and in. Finta getting a lucky save right there with his left leg. Now it looks like we're going to get a penalty, this time on Stony Brook. It should go against Matthew Anastasio, another Division III transfer from SUNY Brockport.
See what the verdict is here.
I have a feeling it's going to be Anastasio, referee signed tripping. So it's another 5-on-4 in the dying minute of the first period.
First time we see Syracuse power play. On the kill, they did a very good job with the Seawolves. Again, restricting the second chances and getting the clear out, breaking up the Seawolves passing all the way through.
Brandt goes into the draw for the Orange. Leading point producer for Syracuse. Wins it back to Jack Duffy, twists it over to Chesner, playing it down to the goal line, now getting it back. Chesner in the left circle. Down low for Brandon Duffy. Duffy to Chesner again at the half wall. Flips it to the blue line with Jack Duffy now around for Brandt. Brandt with options, looking back to Jack Duffy. Twisted again to Chesner. He'll pull it up to the blue line, sliding it right to Jack Duffy. Another pass right to Brandt. His shot saved by Reganado. Swept back to the perimeter by Trezera. Not out just yet as Jack Duffy will hold the blue line. To Chesner, down low again. A pass to the slot, got through Fanning, and now cleared out by the Seawolves. 5 seconds left in the period, and it looks like we'll hit 0 with 1:20 about left on the penalty to Anastasio. And Matt, I'll kick it over to you to do the period intermission, and we'll be back with the second.
Okay, so we'll take a little bit break there too, but I'll get you up to date on just about everything going on right now. And in a game, okay, so yeah, let's take a break right now, because what we'll do is when we return, I'll get you through the NHL scores and see what we can also see if there are other scores in the ACHA we want to go over as well. Because, and also a little bit of, talk about the standings and maybe a little bit of satellite hot stove. But
And we're back for the start of the second period here on WSP, our YouTube sports page. My name's Kevin Broderick, joined by Matt Mankiewicz for our second game of this doubleheader on Saturday. A reminder, we'll be back tomorrow for another Stony Brook ACHA hockey matchup. We'll get you the start time at the end of today's game, as well as the sports section from 10 to 12 live on WSB Radio. Myself, George Karatzis, and Matt Mankiewicz, although like I said on our football broadcast, myself and George might be a little late, so we're going to see if we can get Matt Kearns in on that call. He can talk a little bit of Albany football as well, as their season's over with you, Matt. Obviously having some big implications with their game against Monmouth.
Right, because Monmouth came down to earth after their top quarterback got hurt. Everybody knows that story. But now Monmouth is sweating a little bit. Selection tomorrow, right?
I believe it is. So the face-off as we come back for the second period, one back by Brandt. Will wheel it around in his own zone and dump it off to his defenseman. Dangerously played to Jack Duffy as he gets hemmed into the corner by Cormanick. Strong Cormanick as always, but he can't come away with control of the puck. Chesner on a stretch pass to the opposite side of the ice. Brought in by Brendan Duffy. Looks back up the wall and they rotate it to Jack Duffy for a shot through the screen. It goes high above the bar. Ricochets off to Nakagawa and he'll clear the zone, likely down for an icing. As the referees are going to say, no, it tipped off a player, so we'll play on. Or excuse me, still on the power play. That's why, Matt.
Yep.
40 more seconds of the 5-on-4 against Anastasio. Obviously took that penalty at the end of the first period. So here comes Brandt racing down the far wall. Dumps it in. Fanning trying to get back to his leading point producer in Brandt. Up to the blue line now with Jack Duffy. One pass right. Syracuse playing it over to the slot with Fanning. To Duffy again. To Fanning. Near side Brandt. Fans on the one-timer. Too clean of a sheet, Matt. He slipped down when he took the shot.
Not only that, he's probably too far from the net anyway. That puck was going to get saved no matter what.
Brought in deep by Nordwin as the 4 seconds are going to expire on the Anastasio penalty. He'll go back over to the bench and Stony Brook reestablish their 5-on-5. Puck held in by Brendan Duffy. He'll shoot one on net. Regonato will save off it after it deflects off the end boards, and we'll get a whistle with 1:30 gone by here in the second period.
That was like a waste of power play time, that first minute and a half, because Syracuse couldn't settle into anything. Yes, to the Seawolves' credit, they did a good job breaking it up, but you know, I was starting to wonder, when you get into those situations, you wonder whose power play it is.
So Cook will go for an O-zone draw off to the left side of Regonato. Syracuse skating right to left in the second period. Seawolves left to right. Cook squatting down against Hudson DiNapoli on the draw. DiNapoli will push it forward to the blue line, but not out as Cole got back to hold it in. Cook looking for a centering feed. Hits off the backside of the net. Puck still below the goal line. Cook looking for Brown on the near point and gets the pass off to him. Trouble fielding it. Brown still holding it in. He gets it off to Cook for another shot. Regonato saves it down low.
But again, nobody gets in too close without being supervised, and Cormanick was doing that. I know it's Cormanick, but sometimes I get the accent on the wrong syllable.
That's all good. Wren wins the face-off to Brown. Banks it off the boards down low. Pass to the slot. Syracuse couldn't get a body on top of it. It will sail all the way into their own defensive zone. Touched up by Finta. Played around the boards. Intercepted by Cormanick. Charges to the goal line. Leaves it behind him for DiNapoli. Wren quickly gets on top of it and takes it away from Hudson. Looking for Brown on the other end. A quick pass out of the zone. 2 minutes and 10 seconds gone by here in the second period. Game still tied at 1 apiece. Stony Brook with the more recent goal, thanks to Justin Nakagawa. Seawolves deep in their own zone right now, trying to clear it from the blue line. Wren still strong on his stick, trying to take it away from Poirier. Turns it over into the slot. Shot up coming. Regonato the save on Cook. Goes back to Hudson. DiNapoli just tries to fire it down ice, and will be an icing over into the right wing corner. Almost another turnover from the French-Canadian, leading to a goal.
That could have been disastrous. However, the one-on-one situation, now, if Nakagawa got hold of that, he would have tried a couple of dekes first. Instead, just try to challenge the goalie immediately, and really wasn't too much of a challenge.
Gaffney wins it back for Rugg on a quick shot. Rugg can't get that one through traffic. Does have the only Syracuse goal of the game. As a puck battle ensues in the right wing corner. Shots are 18-14 in favor of the visiting Orange. Gaffney trying to squirt the puck over to the left wing corner. Comes to Valenti as he battles Aiden Emery. Puck dribbling up the boards towards the blue line. Poked back down low by Gaffney. Battling one against Poirier, and Stony Brook will win it up and out. Vernillo at center ice. Deeks left. Banks the puck in on his backhand. Touched up by Finta. Couple of passes, and Syracuse will turn it over all the way down to the other end of the rink for an icing mat, and we'll take another whistle.
Well, Syracuse came out in this second period much more aggressive. Remember how long it took them just to get their first shot off at the beginning of the game, and now they've surpassed the Seawolves in shots. They're coming out stronger. They're coming out more aggressive. They're probably thinking, hey, that first period was a stinker, and it's still 1-1. Let's see what we can do here.
R.J. Sember going over to the left circle for the draw, joined by Anastasio after the puck is dropped in. It's shot right into Stony Brook's bench, almost hitting a former player in James Kazicki.
There's a blast from the recent past.
Face-off will be done again from the left circle. Once again, it is Sember in, this time against Gaffney, and we'll get a false start on the draw. And another redo.
5-yard penalty.
If only. So Malik will step in this time against Gaffney. Face off one to Rugg. Deflects it over to the perimeter. Sember pokes it in deep, and Rugg takes it away there. Rugg spins it off the boards. Held at the near point by Valenti. Turned over to Emery, who almost was zipping towards the goal alone. But thankfully, Stony Brook had some extra defensemen back and shut down the play. Clock ticking to 16 minutes left in the second period. The Orange will make a full line change as a home run pass went to Anastasio at the orange-blue line and will be covered up by Finta as the puck was sent all the way towards him.
Not that he was going to be able to do anything with it then, because he had two guys on him. Basically a 1-on-2.
So,
and that's been the story. Every time the Seawolves try to break out, the Orange have been there. They're skating much more aggressively. They're getting where they need to go.
Mara on the draw, gets it back to Haskins. Quick wrister, saved by Finta. Karams out to the half wall. Shot from Wenrich, turned aside by Syracuse. Held in the zone by Collin, though. Dances at the blue line, looking for a shot through a screen off to the right side of the net. Rims around to Haskins, holds it into Nakagawa. Plays it around the boards again for Hyde. Into the bottom of the left circle for another shot, and it goes above the crossbar. Haskins, another alert keep in, but this time it's turned over to the captain, Chesner, and he gets it out of the zone. Puck popping around. Neither team settling down with it just yet before Jack Duffy gets a touch on it. Ahead to Pendergrass, and his pass is intercepted by Haskins and sent back into Syracuse's offensive end. About 5 minutes gone by in the second period. 1-1 still the score here on WSB, our YouTube sports page. Nakagawa looking for Hyde at the goal line. Tied up by Jack Duffy. Duffy wins it away, squeaks it around Nakagawa. Haskins holds in for a second, then the Orange clear. Chesner with it past the blue line. Drags around Mara. Chesner still holding on to it. Centering feed on the backhand. Comes to the high slot. Pendergrass fans on a shot. It's a turnover, but Pendergrass takes it back. Pokes it around one player, now battling Wenrich. Wenrich comes away and prevails with control, sliding a pass over to Robert Hyde on the right wing. Hyde cuts left. Hyde down the center of the ice, finally poked away. Last man back was Nordwind for the Orange. Syracuse find another clear. Shots are 18-15 in favor of Syracuse. Both of these teams like to play a high-flying, fast-paced offense. Problem for Syracuse, and the reason why they're 5-9-2 on the season, they've had quite a few injuries to deal with, something that you talked about with Stony Brook at the top of the show, Matt.
Yes, and Stony Brook healthier, one reason why they've been more successful, but also able to handle Syracuse's approach here.
And we have a delayed penalty coming up on Syracuse, so Stony Brook will go back to their power play, second of the game.
So, strategy here. Now, I see Poirier still on. Now, he's going to go back on the bench. This is interesting. From what I've seen of him, yes, he might be a little bit of a disappointment offensively, but he's a good stick handler, and he would be good on the power play. I'd like to see more action, more power play time for him. But in both cases, well, on the Syracuse kill starting the period, they basically wouldn't let Stony Brook do anything. Let's see what happens here if they try the same thing.
Colin Wenrich is the starter instead on the power play unit. Face-off one back by Cormanick. DeCero takes over and curls over to the left circle. DeCero for a shot. Another post for Stony Brook as they were again inches away on their first shot of the power play. Brandt goes back to the other end, pulls up in the left circle, fires it across the ice. Jack Duffy looking for a tip, comes back in front. Cole a rebound and shoots it above. Would have had Reganato beat, but Stony Brook getting lucky right there.
That shouldn't be happening.
30 seconds already gone by in the 5-on-4. Colin Wenrich heading up ice. Dips past the blue line, gets it off for DeCero. A pass hits off a skate, and the Orange will clear again. This time it's Cole racing against Cormanick. Cole gets it on the forehand, leaves it back for Chesner. Tries to beeline towards the net, but he was tied up by Nakagawa. Justin will get a takeaway below his own goal line and starts to head towards the opposite end. Nakagawa, one hand on the stick, goes through the blue. Press from Cato from behind, banks it off the boards for DeCero. DeCero into the circle, his shot saved. Rebound comes out in front, but no one was there from Stony Brook to poke it through. 53 seconds left in the 5-on-4. 18-17, the shots on goal, and 1-1 is the score.
Totally unsettled on the power play here.
Anastasio leaves it for Haskins, glides up the ice and past the blue into the offensive end. Goes across ice, taken by Vernillo, mishandles the puck, and now a chance to clear for Cook, and it's poked away. We have another penalty, this time for hooking, and I believe it's going to go against Stony Brook.
Okay, so we got 4-on-4 for 31 seconds, and for a minute 29, you're going to have 5-on-4 the other way. But on this power play, I mean, you're seeing passes that are going to no one in particular. What are the guys thinking? They have to settle into something here to get something going on a power play. And Syracuse, not only has Syracuse not let them, but they haven't really made an effort to do it themselves. So now they got to do 4-on-4 here.
So Haskins will go into the box for 2 minutes, 31 seconds left on the power play opportunity for Stony Brook, so we'll skate 4-on-4 for that amount of time. Face-off won by the Seawolves, and Kowalski will get it below the goal line, up ahead for Nestepany. He can fly. Back pass goes over to Labos, looking for a shot. It was actually a centering feed, sticked away, and it goes out into the netting. So we get an offensive zone face-off this time for Stony Brook. Again, 20 seconds left in the 4-on-4.
This is an opportunity to take some control back a little bit because right now Stony Brook's been very reactive.
Poirier at the blue line. Slides it left, Kowalski. Racing down to the half wall, getting tied up by Rugg. Now Nestepany in the corner. Stony Brook still working after the near puck. It slides into the right wing side. Jake Brown tying the stick up of Labos, and he'll take it away back to the power play for the Orange for $1.27. Syracuse into the offensive end, looking for a centering feed, cut off by Kowalski, pops to the high slot. Jack Duffy couldn't get the shot off. Now a chance for Chesner to wheel and deal. Leaves it for Rugg, who scored the goal in this game for Syracuse. Rugg back to Chesner. They'll play catch and go as Rugg takes it to the left circle. Rugg down to the goal line, centering feed intended for Duffy, but it goes out of the zone, and Stony Brook have a chance to maybe get some clears. In the second period, this is a long change on the PK. Stony Brook do get two players off as Jack Duffy will re-enter the zone. Leaves it down low for Brendan Duffy. Brendan Duffy tied up by Poirier. Gets the pass up the wall, now gets it back at the goal line. Duffy with room to skate, has options into the left circle. Gives it off to Rugg again. Chesner to the right wing side, taps it out in front. Duffy the one-timer, save made by Reganato. Still in the offensive end, Brendan Duffy below the goal line. Lifts it up high. Rotated across to the blue with Chesner. Taps it back to the left circle. Rugg a shot, it's off target. Spills below the goal line to the left wing corner where Rugg will take it back. Pressed into the boards by Charles, gives it off. Duffy out in front again, his stick tied up on the shot. Good play from Charles Poirier. Rugg another shot, this time Reganato will save, and Stephen Reganato, talk about a workhorse, 660 minutes coming into this game. Well, he's played about another 30, Matt, and he's looked excellent.
And just in the nick of time, too, because he's really been the safety net for the Seawolves here. Syracuse continues to challenge. Now, Syracuse on the power play, They are trying to settle into more set plays here, and the Seawolves have been able to hold them off, but only just.
Jack Wren can't win the faceoff against Nakagawa, and we're going to get another penalty, this time going on Jack Wren. The Saratoga Springs native will be into the box for 2 minutes. We'll have 5 seconds of 4-on-4 before the Seawolves find their own power play. Matt, not a lot of penalties in the first. Really, I should say not a lot of penalties in the first 18 minutes of the game. It's been penalties ever since.
Much more contact, that's the reason why. They were just skating up and down, up and down, up and down in the first period. Now they've been a little bit more aggressive. There's a lot more banging going on. And not only that, they're staying on each other more. I mean, that's why you end up with a trip like that.
Morrow will step into the draw circle. Glove down at the blue line by Vernillo. Dances off to the left side. Haskins rejoins the play. Pass down low. Anastasio carries it around looking for Haskins as he inverts. Anastasio instead will hold, switching spots with Haskins as he skates down the wall. Cut off well by Chibata. Now ties up the puck at the end boards. Vernillo pokes it free. Taken back by the Seawolves, it's Anastasio with control. In the right circle. Leaves it for Haskins. Up top, Vernillo sweeps it at the blue line across Poirier. A wrister deflected, ends up in the end boards. Haskins will skate onto it. Buck 23 left in the power play. Vernillo with options, trying to go across ice. One-timer taken, but it's blocked again by the Orange. Puck stays in play. Syracuse can't get the clear up the near boards. Poirier still with it. Passing it down low, tapped out in front. Haskins trying to rip the shot as the net came off its moorings. We'll get a whistle from the referees. 1:07 in the power play, and the top PK unit will go in for Syracuse as they see Cormanek go out with the top power play unit for the Seawolves.
Much, much better offensively on this power play. They're passing to people instead of just flinging the puck around.
So Cormanek will step into the left dot, wins it back for DeSaro, looks across for Hyde, tap to Wenrich at the blue. Back over for DeSaro, takes a couple of steps, gives it to Cormanek below the goal line. Cormanek dancing into the right circle. Around for DeSaro, off the boards, he goes back towards the blue, pulls up on his skates at the far half wall. Looks for Nakagawa, tapped around DeSaro again. Up top, Wenrich, trouble with the pass, can't keep it in the zone. Pendergrass now with the pressure, going skate to stick. Pendergrass breaking away, but not in a 1-on-0, so we'll give the pass back to Wren in the neutral zone to bank it down the rink to kill off more time. 30 seconds left in the 5-on-4, 9:14 in the period. Score is still 1-1 between Stony Brook and Syracuse. DeSaro across, Hyde breaks through, dragging through a couple of players. It's taken away by Chesner. Clear does not go past the blue line, expertly played by Wenrich. Goes down the boards for Cormanek. Back past DeSaro. Gives it to Hyde. Hyde to DeSaro again, left circle. Down low now for Cormanek. Gives it back for DeSaro. Takes a shot and Finta the save. Once again, the net is off its moorings, so we'll take a pause with 5 ticks left in the power play. And Cormanek was a little bit irked on the call. Thought he was in a good position to rip one home.
Yeah, it's almost like the goalie backed into it a little bit to stop play because the Seawolves were getting the pressure going here.
18-21 are the shots on goal. Syracuse leading in that department. Face-off taken by Labos in the left circle. Both teams tying up, and we'll come away with Brandt as he wheels it up ice. We're back to 5-on-5. Brandt in the right circle blowing a tire. The puck will dribble on net and stick to side by Reganato. Down to the goal line now with Trezera. Poked out of his control by Brandt, but it goes back to Nestepany, and he'll clear it out of the zone. Long pass out to Cooper Smith. Smith pulling up, looking for a centering feed, but tied up in front was Labos, couldn't get the shot off. Long pass for Emery, hits off the referees. Dumped back in by Stony Brook as we go down to 8 minutes to play in the second period. Bank pass for Rugg, he'll clear the zone. Stepped up by Trezera, drives it back towards the net. Finta will hold for a while, no whistle comes through though. And now we will actually get an offsides call, Matt.
Okay, so you're going to get a face-off in front of one of the benches here. Stony Brook bench, it appears. But even though the Seawolves didn't get any results from that power play, I definitely like their approach better than the previous one. So I also see that both teams are continuing the aggressive physical play. So much more entertaining to watch here right now.
Another offsides against Stony Brook, so they're forced to reset, and Emery will dump it into the offensive end. Reganato goes behind his cage to play it around for Nestepany. Had trouble with the pass, almost turns it over, but Nestepany will get back onto it in the corner. Will turn it over to Rugg off the boards. His shot rims around the boards. Off to the near side. Cooper Smith battling for it with 7:30 to play in the second period. Pops free and Stony Brook will clear. Long pass to Cooper Smith. Could have an angle towards the net. Collects on his backhand and pulls up in the right circle. Fires it towards the middle, and Malik couldn't get the shot off. Skims over to the left side, and Syracuse will find a clear on the near end as Stony Brook were going for a wholesale line change. Gaffney off to Rugg at center ice. Rugg carries it through. Down to the right circle. Rugg trying to dance at the blue line. Had it poked away from his grasp. Malik takes a hit into the boards as he tries to clear. Will get it off for Wenrich and will bank it out. Malik now in on the forecheck. Chasing down the loose puck into the right wing corner. Malik taking some punishment as he tries to pass it up the boards, and now it's taken away by Pendergrass. Goes across ice, and Rugg will dump in again. Reganato ready for it, and instead will just let Charles Poirier take it. Stony Brook tied up 1-1 right now with Syracuse. 21-19 are the shots. 6:30 to play in the second period. Syracuse good forecheck right now to hold the puck in around the boards. They'll create a turnover with McCormick, trying to play it to the weak side of the ice. Ends up down low with McEnroe. Popped up high by Stony Brook again, and this time they'll clear it out. Vernillo trying to drag it past the blue, but hits some traffic. Still in the neutral zone. Across to Anastasio, rimmed around by Poirier. Finta comes out of his net to stop it up. Syracuse will collect it there. Anastasio in on the forecheck, almost getting something down low. Instead, the Orange will shimmy it up the near side thanks to Cato. Dumps it into the other end. Been a lot of up and down on the sheet right now, Matt. Puck up to the blue line. Shibata shot.
Turnover at the blue line, though, that could have been another problem for the Seawolves, but it was way off the mark.
Puck did squeak out into the crease for Reganato. He wristed it down the length. Stony Brook going for another change. They might be caught here. 3-on-1 past the blue line. Brandt sliding it back. Fanning a shot. Misses the crease. Brandt back for the rebound into the corner. Pinched aside by Haskins. Taken by Hyde, but he'll lose control. Still in the offensive end for Fanning. Down the boards. Gets it off to Duffy. Duffy looking for a centering feed. Poked around by Brandt. Puck still loose on the left post, and somehow Stony Brook prevents a goal. Still in the offensive end for Chesner. Left circle. Fires it middle. Sticked aside by Haskins, and it rims over to the right wing side. Brandt will take it back in the left corner. Looking up top to Jack Duffy, and then twirls around below the goal line. Brandt still on his backhand looking for Chesner, and accidentally clears the zone for the Seawolves. Chesner back in his own end. Hyde close behind him. Chesner rotates it around. It's for Jack Duffy. Trying to dump it past the Stony Brook blue line. It's off for Haskins now. Nakagawa. Bank pass. Labos. Couldn't control it as Brown stepped right in front of him. Brown off to Duffy. High glass pass for Fanning. Fanning tips it around Haskins, who looked for the check. And it's all the way down for Wenrich, and Stony Brook will have to play it with no icing. Wenrich to Nakagawa, slides it back to Colin. Evades the check of Cole. Nice pass the blue line. Colin Wenrich diving down low as he's pressured by Nordwin. Wenrich still holding on to it. Gives it off Cormanick with room to shoot. Cormanick goes across ice. No shot from DiNapoli as he was instantly bottled up by Wren. Races back the other way. Goes skate to stick past the blue line. Leaving it there for Cook, looking for Cole. Stepping in front of the play was Cormanick. DeSaro now race ahead past the blue line, leaving it for Cormanick. Corm dumps it into the right wing corner, and it's repelled now by Wren. Gives it off to Cook. Cook through the blue line. Pressure by Trezera. Takes a bump into the boards, then centers it. Tapped off the stick of Cole for Wren, who couldn't get the shot off in time. Wasn't expecting such a nifty pass from number 10. 23-20 are the shots right now in favor of Syracuse. Wren for a shot. Right shoulder save by Reganato. Puck rebounds and pops below the goal line. Wren another centering feed out into the blue paint as Trezera finds it first. Collects on the backhand. Trezera wheeling it up ice. Nice pass to DeSaro. 3-on-1 towards the cage. DeSaro shot. Rebound. Trezera scores! Stony Brook up 2-1. 3:13 to play in the second period.
Sure took them long enough. That was exactly the play that Stony Brook was looking for all night long. Take one try at the goalie and then be there for the rebound. And Trezera was there to poke it in. Perfectly executed, gives Stony Brook the lead, but very rare that they can break away like that, because on both ends, the back checks have been excellent. They have not given each other much to work with in either end.
Joey Trezera, his first goal of the season, the D3 transfer from Trinity University, was a part of that program when they were going to national finals over in the D3 division. And Stony Brook will win the ensuing face-off, 3:08 to play in the second period. Score now 2-1 in favor of the home team. You're listening to WSB 90.1 FM. My name's Kevin Broderick, joined by Matt Mankiewicz as Syracuse will dump it in. Snatched out of the air by Regginato as the puck popped at his face. That was a dangerous opportunity for Syracuse.
And the Seawolves have been able to get themselves out of trouble most of the time. Syracuse's passing in the second period has been much crisper. I think crisper even than the Seawolves. But they haven't had a lot to show for it. They haven't been able to beat Regginato straight up.
Kowalski off for Cooper Smith. Looking ahead and is off for Sember. Wrists it down the ice, now swept across the blue line from Labos to Kowalski. Twirls it around the boards and comes Finta. Trying to play it for Syracuse, held alive by Poirier. Bashes it down the boards, taken away by Chesner. A backhand pass intercepted partially by Stony Brook as it hits some traffic. Seawolves trying to force a turnover, but the puck is lost in skates before Labos comes away with it. Driving it, popping it out in front, and the net once again off its moorings. Has been a problem so far for AJ Finta, who's in his fourth season with the Syracuse Orange. Matt, it's a name that we've become accustomed to over the years.
Well, one thing about this particular goal, I'm wondering when they swap ends for the third period, if it's going to happen as often on the Stony Brook end. But there's also been a lot of contact in front, too, which will happen, which will knock the net off its moorings. That's what it's supposed to do, to protect the guys so they don't get pretzeled by the posts. But so far, it's been Syracuse's friend because it's been able to stop play right when the Seawolves put the pressure on.
So the face-off will go for Kormanek as the first line is out for the Seawolves, flanked by Kowalski and Poirier as the defenseman. Kowalski will take it, a pass ahead for Dinopoli. Goes across ice to Saro. At the red line, he'll sweep it in, but it's held up at the near point. Back for Poirier in his own zone as Pendergrass tried to dump it in. Poirier gives it up for Kowalski. Another pass up the boards to Saro, blows the tire, and it looks like Syracuse can take it back. Almost turned over, and now we'll get called for a hand pass. DeSaro was trying to find Kormanek, who would have been alone in the slot, and that is not the man you want to see barreling down Main Street if you are AJ Finta.
No, and again, caught a little break there. Especially because the goal wouldn't have counted had it scored.
Nordwind off the draw, looks for the stick of McCarthy. Rattles around and goes back for Wenrich at his own goal line. Passes it off to Kormanek. Near side, Haskins has room to operate. Haskins wiggles it up the boards, back for Kormanek in the right circle. Kormanek trying to dance out in front, shut down by Finta. The puck is still loose around the perimeter before the big man AJ gets on top of it.
And the goal's off its moorings again.
The native of Branford, Connecticut, seemingly have a problem with keeping his net in the right place. Not exactly a problem for him or his team, but I imagine frustrations will continue to boil over from Stony Brook if it continues to happen.
Yeah, it seems to happen at the least opportune time for the Seawolves.
Mara, right circle draw, back to Hyde. A wrist shot will go straight into the butt of Fanning, and Syracuse will clear off of it thanks to their captain in Chesner. Chesner back off to Fanning, walks through the blue line with Haskins out in front looking for a centering bid, snaps it through Jackson's feet, and it's saved by Regginato. Brandt trying to chase down the loose puck in the right wing corner, taps it around for Duffy. Checked from behind by Hyde. He gets it up to the blue line, now into the Main Street. Jack Duffy, a shot, hits too much traffic. Rebound comes off to the near boards. 2-1 the score, 1 minute to play in the second period. Chesner, right circle, another shot, hits off the stick of Haskins and goes wide right of the goal. Still in the offensive end for Syracuse. It's wrapped around down low for Duffy, pinched into the boards by Haskins. Has Cole joining him now. It's a 2-on-2 for the puck as the clock ticks down to 45 seconds. Stony Brook seemed content to just kill off a little bit more time. Eventually the puck is worked free for Brendan Duffy. Up top, Krabati across the blue line. Shot taken by Syracuse. It's deflected in on net and saved by Regalado. Still in the offensive end as Haskins tries to clear. Gives it to space with Wenrich. Up to the blue line and out for Stony Brook now. Here comes Nakagawa, dragging it past the blue line. Backhand flip pass to Hyde. Down to the goal line. Centering feed was a shot onto Finta's right shoulder. Makes the save. Stony Brook trying to hold the zone and will get another penalty. This called down low on the play, and I don't know if it's going to go against the Seawolves. Could be Lorenzo Mara off to the box. Hyde seems a little shaken up on the play as well, as he had some trouble getting into the bench for Stony Brook. And it will be Mara into the box for 2 minutes, so Syracuse will end the first period with a power play, trying not to end the second. They would love a goal right here, but if need be, they'll carry over 1:46 into the final period of regulation. Face off, one back by the Orange. Rotated around to Ren, a shot. Rebound comes out in front and in a step, and he steps in front of it in time. Fires it down the length of the ice. 5 seconds left, and flying in on the forecheck is Hudson DiNapoli. Will shut down any chance of a play, and we'll go into the third period, Mr. Mankiewicz, in a 2-1 game. Stony Brook on top.
Good period for both teams, I would say. The effort was definitely there. The aggressiveness was definitely there. And the Seawolves end up pulling a goal out of the deal on a play that they've been waiting to make all night long. Syracuse, you know what it reminds me of? It's not really... Remember Michael Grabner?
No, I do not.
On the Islanders?
I think a little before my time.
A little before your time. Anyway, great skater. Could break on a breakaway. Get on breakaways all the time, but couldn't finish. So we had a Michael Grabner bobblehead in the office, and it was missing its stick.
You know what? I think you did tell me this story once.
Yeah,
I remember
because
it now.
There is a bakery in Midtown near the old NHL office called Crumbs, and they would put these little flags on their cupcakes, and we had one, so we put that in his hands because Mike Bossy was working in the building at the time, and I'm like, why isn't he teaching him how to finish on a one-on-one? Because that's what I see with Syracuse. They're getting one-on-one opportunities, but not really doing anything with them. They're not making it difficult for Regalado.
Not difficult enough. They're down by 1 goal heading into the third period. And we'll step aside for a short break here on WSB, our sports page. And we'll be back for the final 20 of regulation. And we're back here on WSB 90.1 FM here on YouTube. 2-1 the score coming out of the second period. The Seawolves have that 1-goal lead. $1.46 on the power play for the Cuse to start off with. It'll be a face-off for Brant trying to win it against Cormanick. Puck tied up at center ice, and it's tapped around. That's going to be a penalty on Wenrich. Cross-checking the call just 7 seconds into the period, and an extended 5-on-3, Matt.
And with only a 2-1 lead, could not have been worse timed. But it's rare that happens. When you drop the puck at center ice, after a goal or to start the period or anything like that, to have that kind of a tussle over the puck didn't get freed up, and there you go.
Brant in on the draw, gets it back. Jack Duffy picks it off the boards and slides it back to his right side. Brant will control again, giving and going with Duffy. Looking to the goal line now. Touched up and back to Duffy, left circle. Slides it to the goal line one more time. Syracuse looking for a centering feed. Back to Jack Duffy. Now Brandon Duffy, one-timer comes out in front. The puck dribbles in. Syracuse get a power play goal in the 5-on-3, and the game is tied at 2.
And look how aggressive they were on it. Look how tight they were on it. Perfectly executed passes. They just got it in, and all of a sudden the puck gets loose, and there's nothing can be done about it. It just trickles right in. Now one of those penalties should be released.
So they will get Lorenzo Mara out of the box, but still facing another 141 on the power play, with Colin Wenrich over and sitting down, looking out on his team, knowing he might have cost them a goal. Poirier will dump it down the ice for Finta to try to clear off some more time. Back for it is Nordwin. Has plenty of space in front of him. Shimmies a pass over to the left, and it's Wren breaking it through the blue line. Wren, pinched by Poirier, down to the goal line, circles it around. Rugg will collect it. Rugg with Dinopoli in front, sends it back over to Wren. Wren for Rugg again in the right circle. Up top now, Nordwin shimmies it left. The shot, they score! Back-to-back power play goals. This time it's Jack Wren with a wrister and his 5th goal of the season.
So what happened to the Syracuse team in the first 2 periods? This is completely different. They're passing beautifully, they're executing, and we're not even a minute in, and they scored 2 goals to take the lead.
2 power play goals costing the Seawolves dearly. Like Matt said, not even a minute into the 3rd period, and Stony Brook trail by 1. Labos on the draw, gets it back for Nestepany, slides it to Wenrich, who just came out of the box. Whips it to Haskins, back to a D-to-D pass. Wenrich looking for Nestepany and will feed him. Nestepany turning the edge, gets around Pendergrass, split between 2 defenders, will dump it in. Banks off the end boards, touched up by Nordwin, looks off to his left side with Brown, and it's tapped. McEnroe to get it down the ice. Wenrich will pull up below the goal line, brings it in front of his own net, avoiding a couple of stick checks. Pendergrass can't get it away from him either. Wenrich across Cooper Smith. Bank pass for Labos, stepped up and denied by Syracuse. It's back into the zone for Wenrich. Across the ice for Haskins. Breaks it to the red line and dumps it into the right wing corner. Shabati trying to clear. Closed in on quickly by Labos. And now out of the zone for the Orange. Here comes Brendan Duffy down to the goal line. A shot. Rebound comes out in front. And the net well cleared off its moorings. This time, not the fault of a goalkeeper. Instead, it was Chris Fanning to go crashing in.
And that's the same goal that went off its moorings so often during the second period. So maybe the moorings themselves are a little loose. That's what I was waiting for. I was wondering if it was going to happen again with the Seawolves defending the goal, and sure enough.
Brant against Labos. Labos will win it, and it's flipped into the low ceiling here by Malik. Obviously, the rinks having those rafters that go east to west across the ice, and well, sometimes the puck gets caught in them.
Yeah, you're not going to get long chip shots in this in either rink here at the rinks. Once it does hit a rafter, it's out of play.
Brant back to Jack Duffy. twirls it around the boards, and it reaches down low for Fanning. Shakes free from Valenti. Up to the left circle, the pass was mishandled. Anastasio a chance to clear. Taps it for Valenti, and he sweeps it across the blue line. Malik checked by Duffy. Pried free from the puck, but it's back for his defense. Trezera up the ice. Intercepted by Jack Duffy. Taps it around Trezera into the offensive end, but he had Ted Valenti there to help him out. Valenti lifts it high into the neutral zone. Syracuse look for another dump-in attempt, and Trezera steps in front of it. Goes D-to-D over to Valenti. Gives it back for Trezera. Room to skate up the ice. Challenged by Duffy. Winds around him, but then Duffy takes it back on the back check. Duffy, and it was going to be called offsides due to Brandt going past the blue line a little too early. We'll get another whistle. 17-14 remaining in the third. Shots are 31-26 in favor of the Orange.
That is a break for the Seawolves because Syracuse could have gotten something going on that turnover at the blue line.
Wren on the draw. Wins it forward to Cook. Shimmies right around Kowalski, looking for a shot. Hits off Kowalski, skates and races down below the goal line. Cormanek finds it there, trying to tap it off to the corner. Wren sends it out in front, but Cook had his stick tied up, and now the Seawolves break it forward. Paul DeCero, a wrist shot, snaps it above the bar. Hunting down his own rebound below the goal line. Nordwin quickly following behind him, pries the puck away. To the blue line, Poirier holds the zone, but it's back for Brown, and Syracuse will get it out. Brown trying to drag around Poirier, angled off the puck, and Poirier is level to the ice. No call from the officials, but Stony Brook wanted one, and Chris Garofalo is elated over on the bench. Charles Poirier takes it out of a scrum and gets it off to Dinopoli on the near side. Back to Charles, 3-on-2 through the blue line for the Seawolves. Poirier drags around one, backhand trying to center it, and Jay Finta got a piece of it. Below the red line for Nordwin as the Seawolves will go off for a change, allowing Nordwin to skate this forward. Survives one poke check and gets leveled to the ice by the French-Canadian. Comes all the way back for Wenrich, taps a pass ahead for Hyde, dumps it into the offensive end as he ramped it off his stick. Back for Chabati, and it will be played out of the rink by Hyde as it hit off of Rugg and ended up in the protective netting.
Now the Seawolves are turning it up a little bit. First of all, they're down a goal. There's still plenty of time, but they basically had a couple of haymakers thrown at them in the first minute of the period, and they're finally starting to get up off the mat and start fighting back.
Face-off goes over to the half boards and pitched away. Haskins has trouble with it. It creates a turnover. Rugg in on net. His shot save made by Reganato with the leather.
Good way to stop the breakaway, but they can't let that happen again.
Again, this is the number 13 Stony Brook Seawolves against an unranked Syracuse team. Seawolves were swept by number 1 Niagara coming into this weekend, but that's number 1 Niagara for a reason. McCormick takes a shoulder bump from Wenrich, separated from the puck. Stony Brook can't get the clear as it was held in by Carter Rugg. Shimmies it up the boards for Nordwin, plays a shot, rebound, comes out in front, and Reganato steps on top of it, spears it away to the corner. Still alive for the Orange as Gaffney skates onto it free. Gaffney slides it middle, Malik intercepts and easily skates it out. Dicing through the neutral zone, he'll dump it into the left wing corner. First in on the forecheck as well, trying to win it back below the goal line. Tough battle there with Chabati. Stony Brook skim it up the boards, and Syracuse will clear off the attempt. All the way back for Trezera. Fort check coming in from Carter Rugg. Plays it to Wenrich. Taps off to Anastasio. On the near point, Stony Brook battle it in, but it's taken away by Jack Duffy. Across for Chesner. Sends it past the blue line, and Pendergrass trying to get in onto it in the right wing corner. Leaves it there for McEnroe. Up to the blue line with Jack Duffy. Couldn't tap the pass around Malik. Slides off to the far side. Chesner holds the zone down the boards. Pendergrass rims it in. McCormick laying a nice hit it to Trezera. Will leave it off. Trezera now battling for it with 14:38 remaining in the third period. Another centering feed slides all the way through the blue paint. Up top, Chesner. Tap pass back down the boards for Wren. Dumps it into the right wing corner. Ted Valenti, the first one onto it. Skims it around the boards to the opposite side. Trezera trying to get to it first. Hit by McCormick. McCormick trying to take it away. Anastasio has it off to the corner, pressured by Jack Duffy, and he'll turn it over. Trezera now comes in for the puck. Skating above the goal line, Trezera clears past the blue, and it's for Chesner at the red line. Chesner knifes it pass. Chesner to the low circle, wraps, centering feed. Shut down by Stony Brook, not out of the zone though. Here comes Fanning, sends it out in front, puck dribbling around and goes off to the left side. Stony Brook lucky to not give up another goal there. It will be down the rink for an icing, and the Seawolves are going to be forced back on with a couple of tired legs. But thankfully, Will Cormanick got out for this draw.
Yes, because one thing you do not like to see is a goalie turning his head looking around for the puck, because that's exactly what was happening in Regginato. Fortunately, he had help, because that could have been bad.
So 13:52 to play in the third period. 3-2 the score in favor of the visiting team. Looks like it will be a face-off from the right side.
Meanwhile, the banging you hear is from the Syracuse bench. They smell it.
Brandt will step up forward against Cormanick. Top line center versus top line center. Cormanick wins it back. Fanning got the first touch, but Valenti did a good job tying him up. Syracuse trying to hold the zone. A good play from McCormick. Could break this away. McCormick skating past the blue line. Two players in front of him, and the puck is popped off his stick. Anastasio sent a nice puck down for McCormick. Sent it back out in front. Anastasio trying to jab it in, but it was fought off by AJ Finta. Fanning in the neutral zone. Fanning on a pass, but does get it in for Brendan Duffy to set up the forecheck. Duffy against Kowalski, and the play is called offsides. We'll go back to the neutral zone with 13:21 remaining in regulation.
Syracuse is playing with a high level of confidence thanks to those two early goals at the start of the third period. That's why you heard the banging. It's like they're sharks smelling blood in the water. And the Syracuse and the Seawolves are on their heels right now, and they need to start taking control of this game again.
Puck played in by Cole. It's swept aside by Stony Brook, and they'll hit Poirier on the far side. Dumps it into the right wing corner. Back is Cato. Checked by Charles, but he does slide the pass off to Chabati. Gives it back the other way for Cato, trying to clear off the near boards, and it's tipped free into the neutral zone. Chance for DeSaro to play it. Can't shake around the check from Chabati. He spears it forward. Kowalski gets his stick activated. It still rattles around as the shots are 33-27 in favor of Syracuse. Stony Brook in some need of offense, down by a goal with about 7 minutes gone by in the final period of regulation.
Can't get it out of the neutral zone at this point.
Mara had it speared off his stick by Cato. Kowalski was back for it. Looks to the opposite side with DeSaro, and he'll dump it in. AJ Finta out of his net as the Seawolves go for another full line change. Finta out to Cook. Cook ahead, looking for the stick of Emery. Skims off to the left wing corner for Haskins. Haskins pinched below his own goal line. Taken away by Wren. Battles two different Seawolves. The pass up the boards is cut off by Nestepany. Banks it ahead for Labos. Overskated it a little bit, but Nestepany was there to send it down past the goal line. Rugg will take the opportunity to skate it forward. Couldn't wrap it around Mara, who is there on the forecheck quickly. Syracuse play a D-to-D pass. Jack Duffy trying to clear. Stick down by Wenrich in the neutral zone and back in by Mara. Chesner trying to send it around a forechecking Seawolf. That was in there was Labos to the middle for a shot slot. Mara sailed it above the goal. Seawolf still hold it. Mara another chance from the slot. Shot is saved by Finta. We get a little bit of an exchange after the whistle, Matt.
Well, only because there was a crowd of people in front of him and he was able to actually pull the puck out between them. A couple of white shirts and one blue shirt.
The face-off will come to the right side of Finta. Sember will take it for Stony Brook. 11:34 remaining in regulation. One back to Hyde. Puts it around the boards, intended for Sember, taken away by Syracuse. Good job battling for it is Nakagawa. Puck still remains down below the goal line. Tapped back out in front. Nakagawa trying to get a shot off, but he was instantly bottled up by the Syracuse defense. Out of the zone now for Wenrich as he's in his own defensive end. Wraps around the goal, leaves it off. Haskins looks for Nakagawa on the near boards, gives it back to Jackson. Jackson Haskins past the blue line. Little fade pass over to his light side, and it will be cut off by Nordwin, but a penalty beforehand. It should be Brown into the box for slashing at 10:57 in the third period.
Okay, so what does that mean now for the Seawolves? An opportunity they cannot let slip by. They have really not done a lot. I mean, obviously they haven't scored on the power play, but they haven't really done a lot in terms of threatening on it either. So you got Kormanek on the face-off, and he's got to get that puck, and Seawolves got to get set up and ready to go.
Kormanek on the left circle draw. Wenrich lining up behind him. Syracuse win it and instantly spill it out of the zone. It's all the way back for Regginato. Should kill off at least the first 10 seconds of this power play. Nakagawa will come ahead. Pressured by Cole in the neutral zone, he'll leave it for DeSaro. DeSaro accelerating up the far boards and will dump it in. First in on the forecheck is Hyde. Wenrich trying to hold it in off the boards and will give it back to Hyde. Robert Hyde with a shot. Fought off. Gets his own rebound though. Almost had a nice solid look onto Finta. Instead he'll hold for a better shot. Gives it to Wenrich. Tap to DeSaro, left circle. Down to the goal line, Nakagawa. Back to DeSaro. Sends it to the slot with Wenrich. One tap back to DeSaro. Protecting the puck on his backhand. Looks for Nakagawa again. Nakagawa slinging it off the boards. Trying to find his own rebound. Finta takes it away. And it's cleared out of the zone. Good play from Brent. One of the best players on this Cuse team. 10 minutes gone by in the third, Matt.
The second Syracuse power play goal was a beautifully executed pass to the weak side, and Seawolves haven't tried that yet.
Stony Brook once again hem it in below the goal line. Passed up to Poirier at the far point. He holds the zone. Puck is whizzing around right now. Vernillo will take it in the high slot. Shot with traffic. Couldn't get a tip from Kormanek, who is out in front, as Finta once again will swallow it for a whistle.
No second chance for the Seawolves there. 44, a crucial 44 seconds here. They can't let this opportunity pass them by.
Those 44 seconds start now. Haskins walks right at the blue line, passes left Poirier, down to the goal line. Taken by Mara. Mara still with it, jams it out in front, and they score.
And there you go.
Tie game at 3. Stony Brook find their power play goal.
Had the man out front, had the setup, and executed it perfectly and quickly.
Anastasio gets the credit, as me and Matt say it at the same time. His 4th goal of the season, 7th point. Again, the transfer from SUNY Brockport, D3, SUNY Brockport. Kormanek going in for the face-off. Wins it back into his own zone for Valenti. Pressured by Rugg up the boards and Gaffney as well, but he'll flip it high. Rattles down below the goal line. Stony Brook setting up on their forecheck. DeSaro looking for a takeaway over in the left wing corner. Cycles it up the wall, glove down by Trezera. Absorbs a hit from Rugg, but he is pushed past the blue. Stony Brook have to reset. Dump in this time will come for DiNapoli. A hound after the puck into the corner and takes a huge hit down low from Brown. Once again cleared out as Kormanek got tied up. Stony Brook wanted a penalty, but they're not going to get one as the puck sails all the way into their own end. Wenrich back with it. Emery on his backside. Shakes past one player. Wenrich now getting tied up. Has Kormanek joined for the battle. Rims it around the boards for Haskins. For DiNapoli now. Press from Cato from behind. DiNapoli does clear over to Wenrich, and that will be a penalty for tripping. Stony Brook delayed, but they score right away. Don't need the 5-on-4, 5-on-5 will do. Thank you very much. Stony Brook take the lead back, and it's number 16, Lorenzo Mara, to score the goal.
On the slow whistle, delayed penalty, sometimes the defending team will let their guard down a little bit, instinctively not understanding that that the puck is still alive. I think that's kind of what happened here. And Seawolves took advantage of the opportunity, which you don't always do. But As soon as that whistle went off, it looked like Syracuse just lit up just a little bit, and it cost them.
So Stony Brook into the 1-goal lead with 8:29 left in the third period. Still trailing in shots, but doesn't matter that much anymore, Matt.
Definitely not.
Mara to the draw. It's won back by the Orange. Duffy gives it around the boards, and it's turned over to Mara. He'll send it the length of the ice.
And not only that, it's quality of shots that matter, too.
LeBeau down low, looking for a centering feed. The puck is tied up at the far post, and we'll get some pushing and shoving after the whistle. Something that I noticed from watching a Pitt versus Syracuse game, Syracuse can get very feisty.
Which is interesting because, remember, there were no penalties called in the first period. And they started picking up in intensity, first of all, because they're both skating down the ice back and forth, which is their style. But the other thing, too, is that they're both getting a little bit feisty here because of the style of play here in the third, and also because both teams have scored 2 quick goals on each other.
Stony Brook will hold in and off the draw. Stephanie at the goal line, pressed into the boards, and Syracuse will take it away. Smacking it ahead past the blue line. Brandt off to Jack Duffy. Duffy into the offensive end, looking for Brandt. Shot, rigging out of the save. Rebound comes in front. Fanning trying to jab at it, and it caroms off below the goal line. Stony Brook pitch it high off the glass and clear. Chesner gloves it down at the red. Chesner reloading for the Orange. Instantly fading off to the left circle. A back pass tipped away by Nestepany. He has the speed for a breakaway. Nestepany trying to get loose, but he's taken down. Referee's not going to call a penalty on that play as the Orange do get it out of the zone. Here's Chesner with it again. Nice pass the blue. Off for Brendan Duffy. Dragging to the middle, but had his stick tied up by Ted Valenti. Here comes Valenti. Backhand pass for Vernillo. Breaks it through the blue. Jack Duffy bottling it up. Trying to clear the zone, but the Orange can't get it free. Down low at the goal line for Wren. Here's Malik. Wings it around. Vernillo takes a hit but passes it off to Anastasio in the right circle. Anastasio a shot. Rebound went off to the left side of the net. Stony Brook find it first. Wenrich creeps it up the boards. Stony Brook will go 2-on-2 there with 6:55 remaining in the third period. Puck is worked out and Anastasio still controls. Slides it to the far side. Haskins a shot and Finta catches it in the glove for another whistle. 6:46 remaining now, Matt. 4-3 the score. Seawolves on top by 1.
I'll tell you something. The Stony Brook back check came through huge back on the other end before this sequence we are looking at right now, because Syracuse was turning it up. Syracuse wanted those goals back, and they still do. But the Seawolves have been a match.
Sember will get traced from the draw, so in steps Robert Hyde from Brockport. Sember trying to hold the zone, gives it off Nakagawa. Shot kicked aside by Wren, and he pops it past the blue line. Instantly wristed back in by Ted Valenti. Left by Finta for Nordwin. Creeps up the boards, one tap pass from Wren, and it will be out of the zone. Wren now shimmies around Valenti. Angled off the puck as down low is Trezera to take it away. Gives it for Nakagawa, clearing towards the blue line, but not out as Brown floats it back on net, and it will be gloved by Reganato.
You see momentum shifts. Momentum was going in Syracuse's favor for the first 10 minutes of this period. Then the Seawolves get a goal and then come up with another one quickly, and all of a sudden the Seawolves are taking control. Now it's Syracuse reacting. It could shift very easily the other way. There's plenty of time, 6:17, but the Seawolves have to maintain control.
Wren galloping below the goal line, gives it off for Cook, sends a pass, but it was errant over to Nestepany. Swings it around the boards for DiNapoli, off for McCormick, taken away by Wren. In the slot, his shot, blocker save, rebound to Cook, trying to send it out in front. Reganato in a split, shut down the opportunity. Puck off to the corner as the Seawolves clear. Another turnover in the slot, Cook a shot, blocked by Valenti. Follow-up goes wide right of the net. And excuse me, that was Kowalski on the save. Another blocker stop for Reganato. Extended shift for the Orange with 5:43 left in the game. Nordwin trying to chase down a puck against DiNapoli. Will win the joust, but in comes Kowalski to help him out. Kowalski with his stick tied up by McEnroe. Gives it back over to the corner. In comes Charles Poirier, fresh off the bench. Can't find the clear either. Another shot from McEnroe wide off to the right. Follow-up shot, and they score! Sharp angle and into the net. Reganato wants that one back, but he's not going to get it. 4-4. We skate with 5:21 left in the third period.
It might have bounced off his back. Bad angle shot. He who puts the puck on the net is rewarded, and that's the reward that the Orange drew there. But as I was saying, it was starting to turn the other way. That in this, with Syracuse in the Stony Brook zone, they were starting to take control more and more and more, and now Seawolves have to make it go the other way. Tied at 4 with 5:21 remaining.
R.J. Sember to center ice against McEnroe, won back by the Orange and instantly sent in by Cato. It will be an icing and go all the way back to A.J. Fintz's face.
But you gotta love the aggressiveness here, the front end of a back-to-back as well. Usually the Sunday game, you know, they get all their energy out in the Saturday game, and the Sunday game is maybe a little bit more subdued, maybe not as much scoring. But now they're going all out here in the final few minutes.
Kormanek will step into the left circle for the faceoff. Scores 4-4 here at the rinks in Hauppauge. It's Kormanek against McEnroe for the draw. Corms looking for the win, but it's one back to Cato, trying to fire it off the glass. Stick down by Nestepany, gives it back for Kormanek. Taken away by Cato. Sweeps it over to Chabati, clearing off the far boards. Syracuse now with McCormick onto the puck. McCormick fades right. His shot goes right into the netting after Reganado made the save. Under 5 to play in the third period.
Starting to see the momentum shift Syracuse's way. They're getting the puck. They're attacking. Now it's the Seawolves on their heels a little bit. This is where the face-off here can be crucial.
So the Smithtown native Vernillo will take the draw against Ben Brandt from Victoria, British Columbia. Another Canadian in the game with Brandt. Brandt winning it back for Jack Duffy at the near point. He twirls it around the boards and down low. Haskins battling against Fanning. Fanning cutting it out in front, trying to look for a backdoor jam, but didn't have anyone there. Rebound goes off to Branch. Catch and go with Chesner. Slides it into the slot for a shot. Duffy was shut down by Reganado. We stay at 4 apiece, Matt.
Duffy looked a little disappointed there that he wasn't able to get a better shot off, but he was right at him. It wasn't going to get past him.
Again, there are 2 Duffys for Syracuse, that being Brendan Duffy, number 7, the forward, and number 22, Jack Duffy, the defenseman, not related. There is also a Duffy that plays for Farmingdale State College M2 ACHA hockey team. No relation there between these 2 Duffys. Face-off taken by Stony Brook and one into the right wing corner. They try to pitch it off the glass, but it's held in by Jack Duffy. Played on net for Reganado. Twirls it aside, and Ted Valenti hops onto the rebound. Plays it out of the zone, and it's rifled right back at him. This time lifts it a little bit farther forward, and Jack Duffy has to go back to his zone to chase it. Ahead for Brendan Duffy. Turns it over in the neutral zone, but taken back by Fanning. Fanning trying to race around Valenti down to the goal line. Charging to the opposite side. Fanning pulling up. Stick to side by Mara. Here comes Mara. Up the far boards. Cuts back towards the middle. Pass off to LeBose. LeBose in the left circle. Centering it out in front. Almost had Nestepany there. And said Brandt comes in for the loose puck off the boards and flies forward himself. Brandt past the blue line. Rister from the right circle as well to the left of the net. Held in by Syracuse as they dip it down low. Good check there from Trezera on to number 3, Aiden Emery. Trezera now tying up a player in the left wing corner. The puck will sit there for a couple of seconds as we're down to 3:39 in regulation. Tie game still at 4 apiece. It's Syracuse with the most recent goal. Trezera still holding the puck around the end boards. It's a stout battle between the 5 players there on the ice. Finally pops free. Stony Brook trying to clear with Lorenzo Mara, and Mara will somehow jip it around a couple of players. Mara's still with it, has to go for another lap around his net to try to find space, and will finally just force it all the way down the ice. Should be an icing, but it was tipped, Matt, so it will be called off by the officials.
You know what I was thinking when you were mentioning all the Duffys? In my graduating class in high school, there were like 5 Kellys.
It's just sometimes that thing happens. DeSaro taps it off for Kormanek. Flies through his own blue, leaving it for Hyde now. Hyde sweeps it in, looking for a shot, but we are going to get a whistle for offsides. A little bit late there, so we're going to get another neutral zone draw, Matt.
You had me thinking, too. Wait a minute, Tom Kelly, Tim Kelly, John Kelly. Went on and on. None of them related to each other either.
That's funny. Cormanick into the neutral zone. A new look on his line as he's flanked by Robert Hyde and Paul DeCero. Cook wins it forward into a one-on-one with Wenrich into the offensive end. Cook slammed into the end boards by Wenrich, but holds on to the puck. Ekes it off for Wren. Wren pinched in by Cormanick. Good defense for the Seawolves down low, but Wren still comes away with the puck. Centering feed slides through the slot, goes all the way for Chesner at the far point. Skims it around the boards, back down low from Cook. Pressured instantly by Haskins. Haskins gets it over to Hyde, and it's up for DeCero, who can break out of the zone. Cole quickly in on DeCero's left hip, and it's taken away by Chesner. He flies back the other way, turns it over at the blue line, but Jack Duffy picks up the loose puck. A shot deflects off of Wenrich and goes off to the right side of the net. Mara now down low, looking for Hyde off the boards. Hyde attacking on the left wing. Gets by Jack Duffy. Hyde going all the way to the Syracuse red line, looking for his centering feed, and Charles Poirier will be the first one to touch it, but turns it over to Cole. Kowalski now at his blue line, looking up ice for the Seawolves with under 2 minutes to play in the third period. Puck flutters high, tapped out of the zone by Cole. He has a couple of seconds to think about what he wants to do, but sends an errant pass to Kowalski. Kowalski up the boards for Nakagawa, taken away by Cormanick into the high slot. Cormanick now to the left circle, wrapping around, looking for a pass to Pendergrass, but it was tipped by Nakagawa. Stony Brook battled for it on the far boards. First one to it is McEnroe. Gets it for Cato. Cato a shot, tip out in front, rebound into the slot, and Stony Brook play it away. Puck 15 remaining in the third period. 4-4 the score. This one looks like it could be destined for overtime. Syracuse on another reload. McEnroe centering feed, taken away by Trezera and played into the end boards. Gets it off for Kowalski. Room on the left wing side, firing it towards the middle for Nakagawa. Takes a hit off his shin pads and goes back into the zone. Under a minute to play, Stony Brook trying to get it out. Trezera, pressured by McCormick, flies around him. Pass off to his left. Here's McCormick. On the near side, will dump it into the left wing corner. Skims around for Chesner, trying to play it away. He's instantly sandwiched by McCormick and Hyde. Hyde still rifling it away. Gets it to McCormick, and he's shut down trying to go out in front of the net. Puck will flutter all the way back to Regalado, who will tap it free for Valenti. 38 seconds left. Up to the blue line again. Hyde will dump in on Finta, who is forced to cover up with the glove. And it will be another ozone draw with 22.7 seconds left in regulation.
And you know the energy level is up despite these guys having played 59 minutes and change of hockey, because they don't want to stay here all night.
It looks like we will get a timeout here. So, Matt, a little bit of time to think about exactly what Stony Brook wants to do in this situation. Unlikely that they send out the Cormanick line because they were just out there, but the timeout makes you rethink that a little bit.
Exactly. You got a little bit of a breather for the guys, and you got to have your best face-off guy there. You got to get the puck. That's the primary thing you need to do. And if you do that, I mean, they've shown that they're capable of running set plays. They did a pretty good job of it early on in this game. But that's what you're looking for. I mean, they're doing X's and O's right now, both sides, and they're basically saying on the other side, make sure Cormanick doesn't get the puck, because he's the biggest guy out there. People bounce off him.
Shots are 41-33 in favor of Syracuse, who have definitely benefited from having a lot of their top players back out onto the ice for the first time in a while. I'm thinking of Jack Alicia. I'm thinking of Ben Brandt. I'm also thinking a little bit about Nathan McLean as the one player that we haven't seen out on the ice tonight for the Orange, another top point producer for them.
I mean, they've survived without them. I'm sure they missed them, but they've done it by keeping the pressure on. They know they're going up against a good goalie. They know the Seawolves have size, but they've been able to match them so far.
Cormanick will go in for the draw. DeSaro on his left side, Mara on his right. The face-off is won back by Syracuse. Brown trying to get it out of the zone and will. It's for Fanning now with 15 seconds. Cuts past the blue line. Fires across over to Brandt. His shot elevates off his stick and takes a spill into the end boards. We're going to get a whistle from the referees. The face-off will come to the right side in Stony Brook's defensive end.
And that was Poirier who broke up that play. But no changes, same guys. Not that it should be.
Nakagawa will actually come out in replacement of Desara, a little bit more of a reliable defensive player. Kormanick on the D-zone draw against Brandt now. Gets it over to Wenrich. Tipped off the high glass and accidentally out of play. Not a penalty here in the ACHA, but does kill off a little bit more time. 5.1 seconds remaining now.
Well, not really intentional either, but delay of game. Doesn't get called too often in the NHL, but it does.
So Brandt will do the same thing from the right circle against Kormanick. Kormanick again gets it off to Wenrich. Will go over to the corner just to hold it. 1 second off the clock. Comes out in front. Brandt didn't get the shot off in time anyways, and will go to OT here at the rinks in Hauppauge.
So now it's going to be much the same thing with fewer people on the ice. You know, back and forth and back and forth. You said it earlier in the game that this is their style. This is what's going to happen when these two teams meet. They're going to skate a lot. They're going to see if they can outrun the other. And in many cases, that's how Syracuse was able to get their goals. And the Seawolves, they've been able to withstand that and take control of the game when they've needed to. But you see the momentum shifting back and forth. Right now, I think it's really in Syracuse's favor because they were able to keep the Seawolves from really doing anything in the final seconds.
10 seconds until we get into overtime action. Skating 3 aside on either side with the addition of the goaltenders, obviously. Stony Brook looking for another overtime win. It would be Syracuse's 3rd overtime loss of the season if they were to drop it. Stony Brook only have 1 overtime loss on the young season.
Now here's my question for you. Look at the 3 guys on the ice to start your OT. What do you think? I mean, what do you think about the choices that Garofalo made here?
Mara, Nestepany, and Wenrich, a lot of speed. That's what I'll say, Matt.
Yeah.
Mara on the draw will win it back to Colin Wenrich, their top defenseman. Looks behind him for Nestepany and will feed him the pass in their own defensive end. Nestepany looking for some space as he flies up to the near boards. Here comes Kyle. Puts on the brakes now, looking for the trailer on the play, who is Mara. Instead, it's a pitch on the backhand. Skims free for Brendan Duffy. Puts it onto the weak side of the ice, and Brandt will easily get there in time to control for the Orange. 30 seconds gone by in OT, and Syracuse will reset behind their own net. Brandt still lackadaisical, waiting for his correct time to break out here. They make one change. Brendan Duffy is off, and in comes McCormick. Make that Gaffney on the near side, takes a hit from Mara. Gives it back off for Brandt, who sends it all the way back to his own defensive end for AJ Finta to play the puck. Twists it around the boards, off for Gaffney, but Mara actually gets there first, and it's a turnover into the corner. Mara racing around, separated from the puck, gallops ahead to get there in time. Slides a pass to Poirier, and he goes off for a change. Poirier, McCormick, as well as Labos. Labos gets a rolling puck, chasing it down into the corner. Pressed by Gaffney. Gaffney separating him from the puck, and the Orange take it right back. McCormick trying to reach to get his stick on the back check, but Rugg will curl around in the neutral zone to maintain smooth possession. Rugg his own D-end. Twists back to his right circle. Poirier was in front of him the whole time, not applying a whole ton of pressure. Rugg off to Wren. Begins to build speed into the neutral zone, trying to tip it around Labos. Labos doing a good job to hem it over to the left wing corner. Stony Brook win a board battle now. Give it right back over to Wren. Slides it out in front. Regalado trying to make the save, but it's down low, and Syracuse score. An OT winner for the Orange, upsetting number 13 Stony Brook in the first game of a doubleheader.
That was surprising because it was a backhand through the 5-hole, and Regalado had done a pretty good job stopping shots like that, but Syracuse able to steal the point there.
So Syracuse get the win, Matt. I'm sure a disappointing game for Garofalo and crew.
Well, the reason why I was saying that with the 3 guys that were out there, I mean, yes, he brought Cormanick back in. I would want, for overtime, I'd want a good passer, Poirier, a good finisher, Cormanick. That's what I would want to see. But Syracuse had the guys they wanted, and they were able to finish and able to steal this game from the Seawolves.
Also, you got to mention another goal off a turnover for Stony Brook. Kind of became a trend in that game. That's how the Syracuse found their first goal as well.
And Reginado saved their butts time and time again, but just one too many.
And with that, we'll wrap up our broadcast here on WSB 90.1 FM. Matt, any final thoughts?
I want to see how these 2 teams look tomorrow. Obviously, they're going to be a little bit more tuckered out because they played very aggressively tonight. But I want to see what the Seawolves are going to do to make up for some of the mistakes they made. And a lot of turnovers in their own zone. That's something they really do need to clean up.
All right, and with that, we'll close out the broadcast here on WSB 90.1 FM. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll kick it away and be back tomorrow, and I will double-check on that start time for everyone at home. Matt, obviously, we will have the Sunday show from 10 to 12 as well. Probably leading with football, but also basketball to talk about the games in front of us. Lots to do on the sports show.
Well, also, 3:30 I just heard for tomorrow.
Yes, so we'll be a roughly 3:15 start here on WSB.
Okay, now is that going to be on the radio? Yes, it will.
No, that will be on YouTube again.
Okay. Yep, there we go. Okay, I see it.
So with that 3:15 start tomorrow, be back in time for the start of that game. And for now, final score, Syracuse 5 in overtime, Stony Brook 4.